All
Hello
right.
and welcome to zipBoard's. Did you want to say something with it?
No, I just said
Okay.
let's get
Yeah.
started.
All right, let's get started. Yes. Welcome to zipBoard's webinar on collaborative creative proofing. We are talking about getting more collaborative, more productive, especially when you're doing more and more creative work. My name is Bhavya Agarwal. I am the CEO of zipBoard, and I am joined with Nathan, who's the product manager, and we'll walk you through what are some of the things that you can do to make your entire process of creative proofing better and more collaborative. Just a quick check on the agenda here. Okay, yeah, here we go. So we are going to really divide this whole session into three things. One, what are some of the common problems that we've seen with the online proofing review process, some of the challenges, some of the ways in which you can improve that process, and how zipBoard as a product can improve your online proofing process. So that's what we're going to run through. A few sanity check before we get even started. Here is that we will be recording this session, so this session will be sent to you in your emails. And also, if you have any questions, you should be able to send your questions in chat or Q&A. So we will be looking out for any questions in between or at the end of the session. So before I even get to the point where I tell about, why I always start with the personal story, but I also I'm pretty sure this is something relatable to a lot of people. How many times have we done this, that you will be taking screenshots of things that you want to prove, especially like very, design oriented things, and you would take screenshot, add them to emails, add them to spreadsheets, and then keep doing a back and forth with people that need to give approval on it. This is how at least I got started with zipBoard, because I was doing this in a distributed team with clients across the world and a team across the world, Poland, US, India. I was in India, and it was just a mess. And that's often the case with most of the teams, especially when you start scaling. You do not look at, how you're really not being very productive. So what we are talking about here, and that's where my experience comes from. We built a product called zipBoard, which helps you with the review and approval for all kind of design reviews, whether you're doing print design, packaging, brochures, flyers, websites, videos, for all sorts of design that you're building for your clients today or for your internal team members. You should be able to quickly get feedback, be able to get organize that feedback as well. So why do I really need to care about my proofing cycle? Well, here is the thing, like often, and this is something that we've also seen internally as well, often you've spent one day building something and you wait 3 days getting feedback. And that is a serious lag on, and it's a serious lag on creating anything. Imagine you've done something, now you're waiting for feedback, and that feedback doesn't come because maybe you've not enabled your reviewers, maybe for so many reasons, but that just creates a complete delay. So that's a big reason why you should be caring about your feedback. Now, this is an exaggeration, but trust me, my desktop looks half like this, because what you end up doing is taking screenshots, putting them, and then attaching them somewhere, and so on, right? Like, it's just a messy process. It tends to be disorganized. It works okay if you're one or two people, but as soon as as soon as more and more people are in your process, you do want an organized system. And if you're not doing that, you are going to end up doing a lot of rework because you're not catching your mistakes early enough. There will be project delays. You will not be able to, live up to expectations and deadlines. Of course, consequently, payment delays. And if it's an internal team, there's a whole lot of course, friction as well. And of course, disconnected information. So for all those reasons, we really should be paying attention to the idea of setting up a review process so that it's organized, it's well in place, and you're not struggling with it. So what are some of the common challenges? And I know I've touched on some of them, but let's look at them one by one. Of course, there are significant delays between feedback and implementation. Like I said, you spend one day building it, sometimes maybe even longer, but you spend many, many days just waiting for that feedback to come in, right? Okay, and a disorganized system, because you might be adding your feedback in one system, but then sending it in email, maybe in spreadsheets. That spreadsheet has links to those screenshots or whatever method that you have. It's messy and not everybody has access to it, right? Your reviews are not enabled properly. One reviewer sends you an email, the other reviewer sends you, wants to come on a Zoom call and say, hey, I'm going to tell you what all my feedback is. So they're not really enabled properly and consistently so that you know how to, bring that feedback to your system. And then multiple segments leading to disconnected design critique as well, right? Like it is possible that there are 2-3 stakeholders. They have, they probably need to also share their thoughts on the same thing. But if they do not have a system where they can share all the thoughts together or be able to collaborate, then it can be a disconnected system as well. One feedback would be coming from one person and the other person has no idea what that feedback is and how they can collaborate better as well. And then one of the biggest challenge, often, of course, with internal teams, with Teams and Slack, collaboration is getting easier for sure. The bigger challenge becomes when you're especially getting feedback from external stakeholders. You have no idea of their schedules. You cannot just ping them and tell them, hey, can you just quickly tell me, did you take a look at it? So you want to set a system where you can say, hey, this is my design. Can you send me your feedback? Okay, this is a deadline. So if it is a little bit more organized, even and they know what to expect. So what does the creative proofing review process look like today? And this is a very simplified view, but I know like there is some version of it and maybe a messier version of it that exists in most teams, right? You would the designer would create your first deliverable. And this, of course, is also after much collaboration and much brainstorming. And that first deliverable could be just a mock. It could be a simple idea, it could be a storyboard or whatever that is. And then that goes through its own internal review process, right? Like a brainstorming session maybe, but followed by, the finer details from a copy perspective, from maybe a UX perspective, from a designer's perspective, from a marketing, maybe even compliance, legal. So whatever, whoever is involved, they will give you your feedback, right? And then if there are external stakeholders, you're building it for somebody, your clients, your other team members, you will also need to get feedback from them. And that goes through its own iteration. So imagine having to go through this, but in several many tools and in several many places. That's what leads to all the chaos. Often the chaos first there's the chaos here because not everybody's on the same page. Nobody knows which version is the latest version. Which one do we need to look at? What is a critique that came from the designer that I need to look at with respect to copy as well. So it's very disconnected. And then a huge disconnect at the client level where they don't know again, what stage am I at? What do I expect in the next deliverable? How do I get feedback from multiple stakeholders within my team as well? So what are some of the ways you can improve your proofing process? Definitely, we agree that we need to, if you're not already paying attention to it. But, I mean, just few things, few sanity checks that you can do is, you want to be able to instantaneously provide feedback to the team. You can't wait. At least it happens with me. When you take a look at the design, you have some initial thoughts, and you want to be able to pen down those thoughts as soon as possible, because that's your first impulse. That is the first impulse that even your even people who are going to consume that content, they would want to give as well. So you would want to give tools to be able to instantaneously provide feedback to the team. You also would want to eliminate any friction that is caused by system switching. So let's say for internal teams, you are sharing feedback on Teams or Slack. For external, you're doing a spreadsheet or an email, and then there is a huge disconnect. You don't know what the client said. The internal team members do not know, what is the context, why certain thing is this way, right? The reviewers should have the right tools to proof their reviews as well. I shouldn't have to explain on that part of the video, on the 13th minute in the video, can you change that graphic, right? Like, it's just too painful to explain all of that if you have to do that, using so many words. And then again, you want to eliminate all kind of segments and be able to work in parallel. So you shouldn't have to, I mean, it's a world of asynchronous collaboration as well. You want to be able to collaborate, but you shouldn't have to be together on a call to do it. You should be able to do it when you can connect and be able to still divide between internal and external. Maybe you will have an internal review, which you do not want to show to the external stakeholders. You want to keep all of that separate. And then, of course, a quick and easy way for your clients to access their review so that they're not bombarded with a lot more information than they need to see. So this is where the board comes in. A very quick introduction to what we end up doing is, we are a central and a secure place for creative proofing reviews. So either if you're building complicated, complex PDF documents, if you have it's ironical that this is an Adobe image here, but yeah, if you have a complicated PDF document, you want everybody to simultaneously take a look at it. If you have a video, you could have a web page, you could have an HTML for an email. So whatever your social media, you could upload them, or you could add them to your server and add them to zipBoard, and you get tools to be able to annotate on top and get feedback, or give feedback. So some of the things in which we stand apart is, of course, you can have multiple type of content and media, and you could sync that up either with your document management system if you already have, or you could use our own document management system where you will upload the content and go through the review cycles. We also help you triage issues, which means if you have hundreds of issues coming in, you should be able to sort through them. You should be able to organize. You should be able to decide, what do I need to fix? What do I not need to fix? And a quick way to differentiate between internal and external stakeholder collaboration. So, let's say you want to create a password protected link for your clients, you can do that, but you do not want them to see your reviews, you can do that as well. So there's several ways in which you can set some of those things as well. I'm going to stop here because that's plenty of what I've shown about what zipBoard can do and how you can improve your workflow. I'm going to pass it on to Nathan, who's going to talk more about how you can set those things in zipBoard. And yeah, if there's anything else, please feel free to ask questions.
Yeah, I'll take it from here. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is just, overall creative proofing your digital content. So with zipBoard, you can use our embedded markup tools to share feedback directly in digital content, again, helping for context. And you can annotate and comment on all parts of the content, replacing the time-consuming process of back and forth email communication. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what exactly that looks like. So here in zipBoard, it's quite simple. You can add, like we decided earlier, 5 different types of uploads. In this case, for you guys, most likely PDFs will be quite relevant. So it's quite simple. You just go through the navigator, you select it. You can also give it a name if you want to specify, what kind of design it is, or a quick description. And once that's done, you do have the option of adding phases. There's currently no phases in this project, so I'm gonna get to that later when we talk about review cycles. So go ahead, once you've uploaded, you can either initiate the review right away, or maybe if you come back to it, you can go ahead, come back, click on the Kanban card, and there's just a little review button that you can hit to launch it. So once you have your document launched and loaded, this is what the view looks like. So you'll basically be able to view your PDF as per usual, as if you were to launch it with any other type of software, but you can now overlay annotations and comments on it. And so what that means is, for your feedback perspective, you can see directly, move this up. What exactly did he mean by that? He meant this particular area here, or reword this. What exactly does that mean? I want it done in this particular area. I'm also going to show you video formatting or video proofing, just because I also know this is probably quite relevant. So here it's a slightly different interface, just because it's designed a bit better for videos. So what's going to happen now is if you select an annotation, it'll pause the video and it'll just basically allow you to write your comment directly onto the video. If you're looking to maybe not add an annotation, but a couple minutes go by and there's something you want to say, you can just write down in the comment box. So the moment you click here and you start writing your comment, the video will freeze as well. And if you can see on the bottom, on the progress bar, you'll see the little timestamps there. And with that, you should see the comments on the right-hand side, which you should be able to jump between. And so basically, you'll be able to view those as it plays. Another nifty thing is, as your video gets to the point that an annotation is made, you'll see it just pops up very briefly, just so that you know that there's an annotation there. Lastly, you can jump ahead or skip forward 10 seconds. You could change the volume settings as well as the playback speed if you have, longer videos perhaps, or you don't want to get distracted by the audio, all just within this player. So how does that feedback translate to your team? So what we're going to go over now is assigning what you just annotated and commented on as feedback for your team. So you could quickly take any feedback that you've identified in your proofing view and turn that comment into a task for your team. You can batch them using tags. You can choose how you want to prioritize them, assign them due dates, watchers, and much more. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what that looks like. So back in here, if we jump back into our project, you should see the task list on the left-hand side. You should see all the tasks that we just wrote, reword this, move this, change this, etc. So what you can do is you can click into it and you can go ahead and assign it to someone. So there'll be a little preview there, but you can go and assign it to somebody on the team. In this case, I would assign it to myself. I could change the status of it. I could change the type. I could also set the priority if it's super high, or maybe it's not so urgent, as well as assign it a due date. Maybe I need this done tomorrow. Maybe I need this done in a month. There, you can just easily pick a date on the calendar. You can add a phase. Again, I'm going to get to that. And with tags, used again for batching. So you can tag similar tasks together. And another cool thing that you can do after tags is watchers. So if you assign someone as a watcher, in this case, the only person I can assign here is me, because I was the only one there. But basically what that means is that whenever this task changes, the watcher is notified. So that means it's somebody who's not assigned the job to do the task, but they're aware of when the status changes to maybe, in progress, or when the priorities change, they'll get notified. You can also have this quick little description. Maybe you want to be more specific with your comment upon realizing maybe you didn't add enough context. So that's a nice description for whoever is assigned the task. And lastly, you can at people in replies. So you can tell people, hey, this is really important, or have a running dialogue, and they will get notified every time that they get added. And their notification should take them to this ticket where they can see the whole conversation. So next, I'm going to talk about how you can share feedback, or just share content and get feedback from clients, as well as a bit from your internal team. But this will be more focused on the external. So you can invite clients into your projects by adding them directly into your project, or by using a share link. You can empower them with the ability to add their insights to your proofing review without having to sign up or create an account of their own. So that's something that we really like to emphasize, is that it's really user friendly for external users. They don't have to sign up to zipBoard necessarily. They can just provide their feedback through our platform, and you'll get that feedback in our platform. So what that looks like here is you can jump over to collaborators, and very briefly, I'm just going to talk about adding internal collaborator versus external. So a collaborator here would be internal. And if you add them to this project, all that means is that they're able to see everything within the project. So they'll have most likely be assigned to zipBoard, and when they look at this project, they'll be able to see all the tasks and all the uploads. Here, I'm adding a client, and that's someone who's external. So they have a much more limited view. So they really won't be able to see much at all. And I'll get to explaining what that means just in a second. So when it comes to uploads, if you're a collaborator, you'll be able to see all of this. So you'll be able to see, these two uploads. If you're a client, you won't get to see those unless they're shared with you. So in the share section, this is the settings for the share links. So this allows the different types of settings that you can provide people that have share links, and these would most likely be external. But if we're jumping into collaborators, you can see here, this collaborator has access to it. But for clients, you have to go in and manually check them off to ensure that they see this content. And they will only be able to see that one content. So they'll only be able to see design one. They won't be able to see anything else. Lastly, with the share link, it's quite user-friendly. You could either directly email it to them through our platform, or you can copy and paste it out. And all they have to do is paste it into the browser, and they're going to get the exact same reviewable interface, basically, that we just showed earlier. So what's going to happen is it's going to load. They're going to have their tools on the left-hand side. They're going to be able to see your comments. In this case, you can turn that off with the settings that we showed before earlier. But the settings right now is that they can see your comments and they can add their own comments. And so it's quite user-friendly. They just come in here, make their own comment. And as you can see, once you hit enter, it'll stick on the top right-hand side. The comment counter has gone from 2 to 3. So next, we can talk about review cycles. So we're going to use phases to create review cycles based on different reviewers and progress levels of your work. And so this is where the phases comes in that I was speaking about earlier. So for phases, they're nice because they allow you to set up, columns that you can use to basically explain where in the review process each type of document is. So you can name your phase, you can give it a quick description, and you can also, add the status to it if you so choose. You can also give it due dates if necessary, but sometimes certain phases are not due at certain times, so it's completely optional. And so the way that you get your review cycle going is, right now we have an internal review, and then perhaps you would have a marketing review, and quick description would be, to be done by the marketing team. So the first one is done by your team, the second one is done by some other team that isn't necessarily someone that isn't the team that you are the closest with, and then last one could be like a client review. So this is just the final phase of your review cycle. And so as your designs go through their various, proofing cycles, they can get moved from phase to phase. And it's very easy for you to track where this particular design is in the cycle, who's reviewed it so far and where is it going and who still needs to do it and where is it currently sitting. The last topic I'm going to talk about is integrating with your tools. So zipBoard can integrate seamlessly using APIs, and it can also integrate with various other predetermined tools. You can retain your current software and add zipBoard's reviewing capabilities to them as well. So I'm going to show you just an example of integrating with Slack, because I believe that's a communication channel that that usually gets monitored quite frequently. So the way that integration works is that if you go into the settings here, we have, Jira and Rike as well, but I think for the purpose of this demo, Slack probably makes the most sense as it would be more commonly used. And basically what you can do here is you can integrate this project with a Slack channel. So what that means is once you allow it in this predetermined interface, now whenever something is modified within this project, your Slack team will get notified. So you'll see right here in this channel, an integration has been performed. And what that means is, let's say I'm jumping now into a task and I am going to go ahead and change this. Maybe this status of this has been resolved. We've completed this update. You'll see now in the Slack channel that this task has been marked to resolved, and you'll see the type and overall just like general details about it here as well. So that's one way you can integrate with other platforms to help you manage with zipBoard if you're not particularly going to use the project management aspect of zipBoard. So to wrap things up, zipBoard is here to help simplify your review process. Some highlighted points there is we can automatically capture all feedback. It's a quick and easy integration into workflow, and we can basically build for managing things at scale. Bhavya, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think this is a great summary, and we just want to make sure that we get any feedback or any questions that you have either now or on our on email as well. My personal email is listed here. It's bhavya@zipboard.co. It's bhavya@zipboard.co, or you can reach out at support@zipboard.co, so that if there are any questions, concerns, or in general you want to talk about how we can help improve your workflow, we'd be happy to chat. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, guys.